Hi guys, welcome to the 7th episode of TDS The Dark Side. Okay, let me do that again. Hi guys, welcome to the 7th episode of The Dark Side TDS, where we'll talk about the positives and the negatives in life. I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Johnstan, if you still don't know. And I've talked a lot about managing like friendships, managing like tricky relationship with parents, and today I'm going to talk about mainly on moving out, what are the obstacles, what I have learned from moving out, and sharing your space with other people. I think that's something that you really need to experience it for yourself before you can have this like experience. Okay, that's a very lack of words, but anyways, so let's talk about like moving out and what are the differences from like living comfortably in a household compared to moving out for yourself. So firstly, as I've talked about in the last episode, finance is very important. So you need to like always at the end of the day, you be very pressed for money, because whenever you try to spend a lot more on a bigger purchase, you'll be like, do I have enough for rent? Do I have enough for electricity bills? Of course, the good thing is that when you're at home, maybe your parents will stop you from like turning the air condition, but once you live on your own, you turn it on almost all the time, and then the electricity bill can rack up. So this is something that you need to factor in as well. Also, certain things like electrical appliance, whether you run it for 24/7, it might also affect your bill. So the thing is that I think for us back then, for three of us, the bill was around 200-ish, 250, I think, per month. So it was about maybe 80 per pax. I think, yeah, sometimes on good months, 50 to 60 per pax. So that's still okay. That's before the electricity bill went like really, really crazy. Okay, so another thing that I've learned living alone is that you need to take care of your 3 meals. Like, literally no one will cook for you. And I start to have this habit of like buying more so I can prepare for the next meal. For example, I'll probably buy a family feast and then from McDonald's, and then I'll eat like a few meals from there, Or sometimes like I'll order out a lot more and then I'll prepare for like the next day, like breakfast or lunch or something like that. So that is something that I don't know if it's encouraged, because some people say eating leftovers, it might cause cancer or blah blah blah. I'm not very sure about that, but you need to be, as in living alone, you need to be about a bit more strategic. If not, sometimes you have nothing in your fridge and you realize like, oh no, I gotta go out to buy stuff, And sometimes like if you're working from home especially, you don't want to get out because it really disrupts your flow of thoughts and your planning for the day. So in terms of meals, in terms of financial, these are the two things I think I become more sensitive about, especially living alone. Yeah. So as you guys have remembered, okay, so I was gonna rent out with Strawberry, and then there's another person, as I mentioned. Okay, so this person, let me call her Mango. Okay, so we three rented a place, and then so the thing about Mango is that because I had to bring the cat along, right? Because I cannot leave the cat at my house anymore. So Mango is actually allergic to dander, which is like fur from like cats especially. But she also like cats. But that's the thing, like if you were to rent in such a place, wouldn't it be kinda difficult for you, because like you have allergies, and then like you might not be able to live properly as well. We kind of had this like discussion beforehand, before she wanted to stay, because I think that this will be a big issue, but then the cat needs to be here. So partly cause I think that the rent that she was having previously, she was having a room of her own with another landlord, which was about slightly more expensive, maybe $100 or $200 more expensive. She decided to rent with us, and then it was maybe just cheaper lah. So, but the thing was like, we started the lease right on January. Okay, so me and Strawberry moved in. But then Mango said that she could only move in April. So we kind of respected her for that. But we moved in earlier, meaning the first 3 months we needed to pay the rent ourselves, even though she's about to come in. But before that, we have to use and we have to tank the pay ourselves, right? Tank the rent ourselves, right? So that was that means more expensive. That means it rise from like 700 to about 1,000 plus per person. Okay, slightly over 1,000. So it's just 3 months or so. I think it was still bearable. Then come to like, let's say, certain furnitures or furnishing, because the previous tenants, shall not say the race, they were kind of dirty to the point that there were so many cockroaches. And when we cleaned up the place, I think we killed a good like 20 to 30 cockroaches, which was horrible. I mean, I used to be really scared of them, but to the point that I can kill it, I can pick it up with a dustpan, not with my hands. I have grown to like be able to kill it. Yeah. So that was quite gross, and because Mango only came in like a lot later, that means that she didn't need to do any of the furnishing, she didn't need to do any of the cleaning, because we were there first, and for the first 3 months every dirty thing that came out would have came out, right? So that was that. Okay, and so we also felt like the tiles were very dirty, so we ordered some like, those kind of like plastic waterproof towels, like nice looking ones, okay, from Taobao. And then we had to furnish the kitchen, okay, and we had to do it ourselves, like me and Strawberry. I think it took quite long, let's say a good 2 to 3 days to put them on. It's very tough and heavy to do them. So no doubt that Mango did split the cost, but I felt like it was very convenient because all she had to do was just say thank you, and then most of the work would have been done. Okay, so that was that. So well, to be honest, Mango was actually one of a very close friend of mine, and she used to. I can pour out all my troubles to her, but I feel like staying with someone, it really, you get to know the person a lot more, you know. So I think that our friendship kinda didn't really continue getting stronger, because we start to realize more things about her, and then I feel that like there are many things that maybe because it's a male and a female perspective, some things she might think that, oh, it's very ugly. I remember having a conflict over a carpet that was only like, I think about $50 or so, and then she was very insistent to not have it, and but our carpet was kind of dirty, and then we just wanted to change it, but she just didn't want it, and because she didn't want it, we didn't change it, Then a lot of things that we have done, let's say we have set up certain things like making nice wallpaper on the walls, okay, so that it look classier overall and stuff, like she also didn't take part in. And then lastly, I think I even tried to buy a like air purifier, because I knew that she was sensitive to fur, but I needed the cat to be there, so I bought that, so hopefully to reduce the amount of fur, but I think that machine wasn't very strong, so maybe that didn't help. So I realized when after eventually like Mango moved in, right, she normally just stay inside her room for most of the time. Then I feel like it's very hard to interact as friends, but sometimes we do go out and have food, or sometimes we cook together. I think in the first few months it was very that, and it was like very like, oh, that's so nice to have your friends staying together in a household, right? So we felt that we were I think kind of close in the first few months. Then slowly, I don't know why, like things start to not feel that comfortable after a while. Maybe partly because we like playing mahjong. So for Mango, she gets very frustrated when we play mahjong. You know, sometimes we play over the night. I really try to like get the automatic table, which she will get frustrated nonetheless. So maybe this was something that she didn't like. So another thing is that because there were two toilets, so that was one of the requirements that Mango wanted. Two toilets, okay. So one is for the guys, one is for the girls. So obviously, her toilet would be the one that is common outside. I feel like she doesn't really clean her toilet, and most of the time when we do the cleaning, I mean, I'll just clean up for her. I already sweep and mop, right? And then the toilet's just there. So I got to sweep and mop most of the things for her. And I still remember sometimes like in the group chat, I'll send her and say, hey, I've cleaned up the toilet. Then all she do is like, thank you, you know. Yeah, so I feel like not so sure. Like I start to realize maybe she's not as hygienic as I thought. So there was a very weird time where I think I can't remember how it happened, but we kind of asked her like, oh, why don't you like clean up? And her response was that because the cat is outside and it's very hard to clean. Okay, sometimes she does use the living room, but not as much as us. So so she doesn't clean the living room okay, but I've never really seen her cleaning her room per se, you know. And let's talk about her moving in, right? Because she's just one person. Shall not mention the age, but definitely a little bit older than me. She has a lot of items, and I feel like those items, some of them were from work, and I have seen her move a few times. The stuff that she carries are still there, you know. And every time she carries the same stuff around in the same box that have not been moved out. So she is alone, but she wants a queen size bed. And the funny thing is she brings her queen size bed everywhere she goes, so people have to dismantle it for her. So it is quite a hassle, I would say, to bring it around. And actually the room is decently big, but after putting her queen size bed and her 20 over boxes that she will stack behind her queen size bed, I think the space looked significantly smaller. So to be honest, she only has like a table space where she uses her computer. She has a CPU, and then yeah, I could see she only have like a little L shape to walk to her desk, and that was it. But despite that, I don't really see her cleaning, you know. And so her, as I've mentioned, her response was she was allergic to dust, so she doesn't clean, which was very confusing because if you're allergic to dust, won't you clean more? But because she's allergic to it, she will not touch it, so there'll be more dust and she'll be more allergic to it, which was kind of confusing on my part. Okay, so it's okay. Regardless, yeah. I think all in all, she didn't hate the cat and she was okay with the cat. But then I think cause we had a 2 years lease, right? So I think there was a face crack moment when she decided to end the lease earlier than expected. Okay, so it's a very long story and it's not really my story to tell. But basically, it started off when she wanted to get together with someone else. So she told us that she would be stopping the lease by September. Okay, so that was 3 months away. Because it was like a more official, like let's say she's getting married or something, then I mean we could understand, right? And of course we like would give her our blessings for that. So some things went down, okay, and then end up there wasn't any marriage going on. So she decided to leave in June. And that was 3 months even earlier. So I understand that it's supposed to end in December. She wanted to end it in September, October because of her marriage. That was understandable. So it's just 2-3 months of rent among me and Strawberry. But now it has moved to half a year because she wanted to live with other friends because there's a vacancy open. And to us, we were like, of course, very uncomfortable, but nonetheless, we can only respect her and just let her go, right? So the funny thing is, she already came 3 to 4 months later and she's leaving half a year earlier. So basically, for like a good 8 months or so, me and Strawberry have to pay for an additional room then. We don't really use that much. So I mean, ultimately, I did utilize the room to be my filming area. So I filmed more stuff there. Back then, like during COVID and all. So I try my best to utilize it. We can also put a mahjong in so it can become a mahjong room, right? So that was that. But I mean, like, leaving a place so much earlier, isn't it kind of, I don't know. I felt like there was no apology. There was no, whatever. Maybe she was kind of annoyed at the mahjong situation or what, and then she just wanted to leave the place. So she just told us that she'll be leaving. There's like, I felt like, oh, like this entire time we were looking out for the flat for you, and then we just left, and then I just don't feel very appreciated, I think, at that point of time. But then so be it, right? I mean, yeah. So eventually came the day where she needs to leave, right? So it was around June. So the same bunch of people came to help her move. Okay, so previously, right, for one person for her room, there were about already 10 people helping her move. So the same 10 people came to help her move. Okay. I don't know why, for certain reasons. Sometimes when you think about helping others moving, right, it should be like, I think most of the boxes should be packed, right? But it wasn't, and most of the people there need to help her pack it into boxes, which was kind of confusing because the van was about to come. Let's say, I think it was about 11 to 12 p.m. the van will come. So some of the boys and girls, they will come at about 8 or 9 a.m. to help her pack it into boxes. And sometimes there are like embarrassing items, like maybe her undies or what, and maybe it's not that like suitable for people to help her pack, but I feel like maybe she needed more planning, because I think definitely if I'm volunteering to help you, I definitely wouldn't expect this situation. And this is not the first, second, third or fourth time it has happened. Okay, though, so eventually, as they were packing, and I was also trying to help from a little bit, trying to push things out, many cockroaches appeared. Okay, so to the point that I think it shocked a few of them. Okay, how it appeared, I have no idea. Okay, so yeah, so it was quite shocking, I would say. Okay, and then some of the times I think she just pretended like, let's just move on, kill and just move on, like go push things out, like trying to pretend that it didn't happen. But it is quite hard to ignore, right? I mean, certain things. So yeah, at the end of the day, she left. I mean, to be respectful, give her a hug, and I say like, okay, like, hope you enjoy your next place and hope you'll be fine. Okay, and I think, to be honest, to a certain extent, I think that was the end of our friendship, because I feel like I mean, no doubt that I'm not a perfect person also, and I could have like pissed her off in certain areas. I think the move and the helping and staying and leaving earlier, it kind of doesn't make sense, and there was no remorse or apology for that. And I think to a certain extent, she even wanted the deposit back, because when we first came in, we needed to pay the deposit, but she was talking to the rest of her friends saying that, oh, like, we have eaten up all her deposit. But at the same time, we have to pay for 8 months of her rent. Wouldn't it make sense if she paid for like the deposit, which was also like about 1 month's 1 month worth of rent only. To be honest, besides the deposit, we still need to like no, sorry. Her deposit was, I think, worth about, yeah, I think maybe 2 months worth of 2 months. 2 months from her side, yeah, 2 months. Okay, so even deducting the deposit, right, we still have to fork out a good half a year pay. Sorry, half a year rent for her just because she decided to leave. Yeah. So that was that with Mango, and I still see her from time to time. I think I still try to be friendly with her. Um, yeah, so I think what I have learned from this is that like certain good friends, even though you think they are really good or you guys will be good, but really living together, it really shows everything of the other person that you have never imagined, because there's more things like hygiene, like maybe schedules and like sleeping pattern. All these will might eventually become a friction point, and then where you guys will be like pissed off, and where you guys like don't see eye to eye with. Sometimes people might voice it out, sometimes people might not, and sometimes it might just boil into a bigger anger, and then it could be lashed out somewhere else without you knowing. So I don't know what has transpired from this, but I think that since like she has already left like in total 8 months, I mean half a year plus 3 to 4 months earlier, because of coming in late, I don't think I have done anything bad to the point that she cannot forgive me for. So I don't think I have let her down anyway as well. So I'm still, I think, upright as a person, and yeah, I don't think like I have upset her in any way to let her cause this. I think this is more like her own decision, which is, to be honest, a little selfish in my perspective. Yeah, but everyone live for their own, so I can only understand that maybe she wants to live with her friends, that I think there are more Malaysians there, so which is where she comes from. So she chose to go there, so be it, right? So that's the only thing I can do, like just accept it, I guess. Of course it was very tough on us, because like, wow, additionally 300 more is not easy. So as usual, this just makes me want to work harder back then, find more students so that I can cover up this little hole that came out of nowhere for a good 8 months. So yeah, so that was like the entire experience of like living with someone. So it was interesting to note lah that maybe little things like can really trigger some people, like hygiene, and like maybe even like changing the bed sheet, or like even changing the sofa cover. So stuff like that really can be a little trigger to having like a healthy relationship as friends as a housemate setting. Yeah. So that was that about Mango. Obviously there are more stories, but I don't think it's my story to tell. Yeah, let me think about it, because like it's really iffy, and well, I don't feel comfortable talking about it, because I'm not so sure if she'll listen to it, and I think to a certain extent maybe I wanna respect her privacy, so maybe I shall not say it in this podcast. But yeah. So so there comes, I think, in between this period, um while I was living out, I still go home from time to time, as I mentioned, right? With my mom not knowing where I stay. Okay. Yeah, it's always some random place that is not accurate, and sometimes she will bug me and ask like, where am I staying? I'm like, just in Singapore. And yeah, so I still come back from time to time, so that's no issue, right? Yeah. Regarding Emma. Okay, so I think I can talk about this one. Okay, I think that's still on the mild or moderate level. So remember that time there was this COVID period, right? So, um, how much should I review? Okay, so during the COVID period, I think most of us were like scaredy cats, and like we didn't want to like be involved in COVID because we have no idea what was the severity of it. Will we die or what? So, we try our best to get the vaccination as much as possible. So I think we all got it at the same time, and then so as you guys remember, M was like kind of together with another person, right? Like engaged. Okay, but previously, so this boyfriend of hers, right? So I think to begin with, we were not very comfortable with another stranger staying over. But then there was once, and I think that this could be one of the reasons why M was very like maybe harboring certain anger towards us. It was that I think during COVID, one of the times she told us that the boyfriend wanted to come up to stay with her because that at her workplace there was someone that was infected with COVID. And then our first thought would be like, okay, if that person is infected with COVID, then why would you wanna like put us at risk, right? And come up and stay with us. So isn't that funnier? Because previously she mentioned that he had a house, right? So we were like, then he can just stay back at his house, right? So it turns out that that house wasn't a house. That house was just, I think, the company's like storeroom, which was still in the company, and that's where he doesn't want to stay. So he wanted to stay at our place for 1 week. So 1 week is very long, you know, and to have another total stranger that we don't even know to stay for a week felt really uncomfortable. So we were very we just said no. So the funny thing was that like for them, right, for Mango and BF, they will always go on staycation every other weekend, you know. So we were just thinking that like, okay, since you guys go on staycation every other weekend, why don't you guys just go for a staycation then, since this is a real deal, right? I mean, you guys already stay every other weekend, so why don't you just pay for another week on your own since you want to get out of the quarantine, right? I think she was kind of pissed off with that, with our reply. I remember another incident. Okay, so there was this incident that I felt that was a bit very too much for her, because as I mentioned, she likes to go on staycation. There was once, right, that she spoiled the washing machine, and the way she spoiled it was that, you know, they have this like as in females, I understand that you guys want to protect your like underwear, especially the bras with the wires and stuff. So they wash it with a little like mesh bag, you know. So I think normally people will just put like one mesh bag or so, right, for the underwears. But there was once I could hear the washing machine going haywire, gong, 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 and suddenly just stopped and something dropped. Pah! Then I was like, wow, that sounds so weird. I went over and the washing machine was beeping, beep, 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 beep. Then I opened up and I saw there were like a good 6 to 7 mesh bags with wires. I think it was too heavy that the washing machine couldn't spin, and to the point it spun until like something dropped. Okay, it was faulty. As in, no doubt that it was an old washing machine. So it was very like awkward because she spoiled it, right? Nobody can use it, right? And then she just took her clothes in a what kind of bag was it? Like, you know, those very big boxes. I can't remember, Toyogo box. And she went to staycation and she just left us a note saying that the washing machine is spoiled. We were just shocked because like, I mean, obviously we haven't done the laundry as well, and it's very honestly irresponsible to just like leave things faulty and not care about it, right? You don't even show any sense of like, oh sorry, like I spoiled it. You are like, oh, it's spoiled, and we have to fix it, you know, just because we are like guys. or something. So that was very confusing on our part. So never mind. I think the first time around, because it was old, the landlord was being nice and the landlord fixed it for us. Okay, for free. Just got a new one. The second time it happened, it was faulty again. But this time around is new. There's no way it would be faulty, right? So the maintenance guy came, because I mean he just fixed it like less than 1 month ago. How can it be faulty again? So when he opened up, he saw and he told Mango saying, like, girl 啊，为什么你用这么多这个包包? Meaning like, why did you use so many of these bags? Because it's very heavy. And we already told her many times, but she's just kind of stubborn and wouldn't wanna like listen to us. So she spoiled it twice. Okay, the first one she said it's because the machine is old. Okay, I give you that. But the second time, this is a new machine. Why is it spoiled? Right? So it's definitely because of the way you're using it. And obviously, looking from a very general perspective, I've never seen so many bags being used in a washing machine. And those bags also contain wires, and when they absorb water, they get significantly heavy, and that's not how it can be spinned, right? So yeah, I think it takes like a professional to tell her that, hey, like, you're doing this wrong. And before that, she was like, oh, in my 20 years of washing my clothes, this have never happened. But come on lah, I mean, like, in a short 3 months or so, you have spoiled 2 machines. So yeah, that was something that I could remember. That was one of the little problems that we faced. Okay, no doubt that I won't say that everyone's like 100% bad. I think she did do something, because I think our water pipe for the washing machine was kind of faulty. She did kind of fix that. Yeah, she fixed it in, I think, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, she taped it while it was leaking, something like that. She did contribute, but I would say that her contribution to the maintenance was at best 10 to 20%, whereas me and Strawberry did the rest. Yeah, but at the same time, I could hear from other people saying that she said that we don't clean, which is like, I don't know, it felt really weird hearing that from someone that doesn't clean their own room. Sometimes because the cat moves around and the cat fur drops a lot, like, maybe that's a very good excuse for her to say that we are very dirty in person. So because we are in charge of the living room, so yeah, that was that with Mango. So yeah, so I've learned that, like, really need to choose people carefully sometimes. But I mean, if you're really unlucky, you just get friends that might not turn out to be friends, So I think every stage of your life is like a filter, whereby you see people come and go, and those people that stay are probably the one that you need to keep for the rest of your life. So yeah, but I need to thank her for, letting me realize that, oh, maybe that is who she is as a person, rather than blindly thinking that she's this angel where I could completely trust on. But I think through living together, I see more of a person, and it's very hard to hide such things. So yeah, that was my experience living, renting. Yeah, so after the lease ended, we found another place, me and Strawberry. So but it was significantly more expensive, because during COVID period, like, everyone was like fighting for houses, to the point that you cannot find any. And every time the wait list would be like maybe 20 people offering, and then like it would be as if like it was a pageant or something, fighting for Miss Congeniality or something. It was so intense, because the foreigners, they don't have a place to stay. They want to work over here, or they come over here, they can't find a place to stay. A lot of Singaporeans, just like me, they're trying to live out. They don't want to live in their house anymore because they cannot stand their family members, maybe, I don't know. So there was a demand in like rentals, and then the rental prices were crazy, I think. So when our lease ended, the the landlord wanted to double our lease, which is not possible, right? We can definitely not afford that. So we had to find a new place, and eventually, with a stroke of luck, we did. So yeah, that's where I am right now, I guess. Yeah. So that's that. Yeah. So in between, like, because we needed to pay for more money, so that was the decision when I've decided to be a teacher, okay, a full-fledged teacher in an international school. So that will be my next episode, where I'll talk about how I got into an international school, what happened, and how did I eventually leave the school. So yes, all that will be in episode 8, when I talk about like working as a teacher, the dark sides of being a teacher. Yeah, that most people won't really know. And then yeah, hopefully that'll be interesting to you, because me, this blonde pink hair person, being a teacher, that is very unexpected. And I taught science, STEM, or like chemistry in particular. So that was a very interesting phase of my life. Having my students as my follower before I even joined the school, that's when I realized, wow, that would be the kind of place that I'll be teaching. So that would be the prelude for the next episode. Hope you guys are interested in that. So I hope you guys have learned something out of this today. This is on living alone, renting out with your friends, and yeah, trying to understand people and their living needs and their schedule. So I guess if you are renting out right now, or if you have other roommates, that might be some of the problems that you guys might face. So yeah, that's that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope to see you guys in the next episode, on episode 8. Okay, bye. See you again, Shadow Cats. Bye.